Hello everybody, welcome to the Red Devils Experience. How are you all doing? Hope everybody's doing well. We have live breaking news. It has just been reported and basically pretty much 110% confirmed that Erik ten Hag is staying on as manager at Manchester United. The INEOS manager saga is officially over with Erik ten Hag most likely going to get a new contract. This is huge news, breaking news. I'm super excited by this. This is absolutely fantastic. I wish they'd done it a little bit earlier, but hey, we can't complain, right? We can't complain. So, listen, as you can see here, this just broke a couple minutes ago. Fabrizio Romano saying Erik ten Hag stays as Manchester United manager. Decision has been made. Ten Hag has been informed after final decision by INEOS. Contract talks will also follow, as per David Ornstein has reported. Ten Hag will be Man United manager for next season. This is absolutely huge. Absolutely huge. INEOS have actually made the correct decision. This is absolutely fantastic. This is great news. Great news. We have more updates basically from different people. David Ornstein, obviously the one that's broken this, has said Erik ten Hag stays at Manchester United. We also have David Ornstein explaining a little bit further, saying Erik ten Hag to stay as Manchester United manager. Manchester United end of season review culminated with decision to keep 54-year-old in position after talks today. Dutchman will remain at Old Trafford, plus hold negotiations over a contract extension. I am absolutely 110% right now over the moon. I am absolutely over the moon because not only is he staying, but he is going to get a new contract. And this was something that I talked about a couple weeks ago, where I said, listen, I know we're not happy with the process. I know we're upset with the way things are going. But the most important thing that will ever come out of this will be the decision. That would be the most important thing. I know we were upset that they didn't really back him publicly, but this is the confirmation of the public backing. They have chosen to stick with Erik ten Hag, and not only are they going to stick with ten Hag, a lot of us were asking for him to get one more year, and they are going to offer him a new contract to further that. So that decision in itself, that is the backing. And I said this ultimately was going to be the thing. The decision will be the deciding factor of if they back him or not. They've chosen to stick with him, and he's getting a contract extension from the looks of it, and negotiations will happen. So, absolutely fantastic. Here we got James Ducker from The Telegraph also saying Manchester United considered all eventualities during post-season review, and clear conclusion in end was to remain with Erik ten Hag. And you know what? This decision has greatly helped INEOS, because now the club can move forward. Now the club can focus on the transfers and go in the direction that we want to go to. It's and it was the correct decision. It was always the correct decision to keep him. The majority of the fan base wanted to keep him, and it took him a little while, but it's a good step for INEOS. It's a good step for INEOS because they've gone with a decision that, in their terms, they say or they think is the correct decision after their review. So it makes them seem like they are paying attention and that they do know what they're doing. They just have taken their time. Ray's in here. Ray's saying that's the way to Erik ten Hag. Good for us. I mean, absolutely. A lot of the fans, nobody wanted to see this. Grace is in here. Grace, good to see you. I love INEOS. I told everyone to believe in them. Grace was the biggest INEOS supporter there was in the world. She was there telling everybody, INEOS in. Absolutely. But yes, they've absolutely made the correct decision here. I'm super excited, super happy. We weren't supposed to do a live show, but again, here you go. This is the life of a Manchester United fan. They've had all day to confirm this, and they've confirmed it at an untimely hour for everybody. And we might not hit the same amount of viewers, likes, and all that good stuff today because everybody's going live and we're competing, but we're here because I said that if anything ever major breaks, we will go live. I wasn't even feeling up to it. I was tired. I was half asleep. I was struggling. I have to go work out, and I still have to go work out, but I had to do this. I had to do this show because this is absolutely huge. So we are here. We are here. And anybody that joins us, we're glad to have you here. So Rob Dawson also coming out and saying, so pretty much every person is coming out saying now that Manchester United have said the clear conclusion of the end of season review was for Erik ten Hag to stay on as manager. So yeah, I know, Ray, it's taken INEOS a while, but like I said, the most important thing at the end of the day is that they have made the correct decision and that they can now move forward. Everybody can move forward. We don't have to rip everything up and start over again. We really felt like, Ten Hag has something there to build on top of. We needed stability. We needed continuation, the manager. We needed backing with the manager. This to me was the best possible solution there was. There are people out there that don't understand this concept. There's people out there that don't understand this idea. And hopefully Erik ten Hag now staying on and staying, not in the immediate, but I hope he will be able to show and repay our faith in him, and show these people that they were wrong, because I think they are wrong. They're entitled to their opinions, but I see a lot of people, even rivals, but I don't expect the rivals to know anything because they're just there to banter, right? But there's a lot of people, coming with the argument of, you finished 8th, you did this, you did that. The football looked crap and all this stuff. And I was like, but you guys are missing the whole point of it. Like, for us to sack a manager again and in 2 years into the process and rip the process up and start over again would have been more detrimental than keeping this guy on, because he's shown good things and he's shown bad things. Nobody is perfect. And Manchester United, as we said before, has been a mess. It's been an absolute mess. So it's a good thing that, he is here and staying on, because it's just going to allow to continue to build out the project. He's familiar with these players. He's had 2 seasons with them. He knows exactly what he's doing. In terms of the squad, in terms of the players, nobody's getting a fresh start. The players that have to go are gonna go, and I expect them fully to go. So it's just great. I have to check Twitter because I got to make sure, because this thing was exploding, and we got to see if there's anything else. So we're getting from Rich Fay here up on this up on X that Manchester United's spirited performance in the FA Cup final victory over Manchester City was viewed as a key reason why he should stay in the job. A match which showcased the huge untapped potential he still has to offer. So, according to Rich Fay, the FA Cup final has had a huge say in Erik ten Hag saying. Now, a lot of fans are probably not going to be happy about that. A lot of fans are probably not going to like that statement per se, because everybody argued pretty much that one match maybe shouldn't sway the decision. But, the ending of that sentence absolutely qualifies, some type of just respect, because that match did show, and like I just mentioned, actually, that match showed he's had some good things, he's had some bad things, but it's not like he's absolutely horrible. It's not like he's done a horrible job. There is things to be able to build on if you stick by this manager. So the fact that he is staying, we can now focus on building instead of focusing on rebuilding, because he started the process of the rebuild 2 seasons ago when he came in. We don't need to do an entire rebuild. We already have bits. We need improvements on the rebuild we already started. So I'm glad that he's staying. Erik, so we're getting more news, more breaking news. Erik Ten Hag, this is coming from Pete Hall. These things are breaking now, so I can't pop them up on the screen, but I will read them out to you. So Erik Ten Hag will now take a back seat when it comes to recruitment, and that's from Pete Hall, at Pete Hall. This is all on X, all on Twitter, which I kind of expected, to be honest. I expected Erik Ten Hag to take a back seat. I think while he would have liked to stay in charge, I don't think he actually ever wanted to be 100% in charge. I think he took that because the club was run in a disastrous way. It also might have been in the negotiations that he's held with INEOS, where they agreed that, I will take a back seat, as long as I could keep my job because I want to continue on here. And I think it's important too, because you know what this does now? This takes one of the things that Ten Hag is absolutely criticized and crucified for, which is the transfers, right? And it's not even in the correct way, but a lot of people out there, they want to put all the blame on Erik Ten Hag for transfers like Anthony that haven't worked out, etc. And this now takes that all off of him, because if we sign a player and that player is signed for stupid money, or that player is absolutely crap and doesn't live up to the standards, that will now go on the board. That will now go on INEOS. And I like that, because I think there's too much focus in the fan base on when a manager asks for a certain player or brings in a certain player and it doesn't work out, because there's so many things broken within the club that sometimes it is just the player ability, but it's not just the manager, the recruitment, everything we've ever talked about. Grace is saying, get rid of Rashford, and I'll put an INEOS poster up in my living room. You want Rashford gone? I think Rashford's gonna stay, to be honest, at least for one more season. And I expect Rashford to have a better season, to be honest. But we will see, because there was some reports that came out earlier today that was saying that Erik Ten Hag was expected to sit down with INEOS tomorrow, before all of this broke out. And before he left on his vacation, they did speak about player ins and player outs. And during that discussion, they said that a majority of the squad was or is available to be transferred out. So still, I'm expecting to see a lot of players going. I expect that. I want it to happen. I want to see it to happen. And I think that is a goal and something that we need to hold them for. Ray is saying we're going to get second place in Europa. Yeah, I mean, let's see how the transfer window goes first, Ray, right? Let's see how the transfer window goes. But now we can move on to the most important part, which is the player recruitment, because now we know that Erik Ten Hag is staying. I think Erik Ten Hag is respected by players. I think Erik Ten Hag is respected by colleagues. I think players from other teams know, that Erik Ten Hag is a good manager, and this is important because it shows stability. And I'm gonna keep saying that because it's true. It 110% shows stability. And we need that. We haven't had stability for the longest time. Now we need more stability, because we cannot be doing one good season, one bad season, and then maybe like a decent season and then a bad season. So, the pressure is still going to be on Erik Ten Hag, because football is a results based game, and he's going to have to get the results next season. He cannot finish outside of the top four. He needs to go as far as possible into every cup competition we're going to be in. Europa League, Carabao, FA Cup, whatever it is. He's going to have to take this squad the furthest that he possibly can. And he's going to have to manage it the best that he can, because, at the same time, listen, it's still football. It's a good show that they're going to give him a contract extension. I think I don't know how to necessarily feel about it, because in one way it's like I can understand it from the perspective of optics of like you can't keep this manager here and then not renew his contract, and let him go through the next season, with just a 1-year contract. It would be a huge distraction. We all know how the media is with Manchester United and how they've been with Erik ten Hag. We all know what kind of disaster that would be. They would be writing stories from October till whenever about how he's gonna get sacked, or this is it. This is it for him. Now the little negative side to it, and Lionhearts is here. Lion, good to see you. I hope you're doing well, and I see that you're really happy. Me too, buddy. The slight negative side to it, and things that we have to keep in mind and in our head, is that, listen, just because he's getting this contract extension doesn't necessarily mean that he doesn't end up losing his job. Because if you go into next season and it just goes to complete shit for whatever reason, best believe they will probably sack him. You know, they probably will. And it depends on the results, right? Because there's still going to be people that don't like that Erik ten Hag is here. There's still going to be people against Erik ten Hag. And if he doesn't have the results on his side, it's going to get really ugly. But I don't think that's going to happen, and I don't want it to happen. I want to see him turn this around because, I've been defending Erik ten Hag for the longest time from numerous amounts of people, and I do believe in him. I've always believed in him since before he was even mentioned, like when he was mentioned before he took the job. So I just want to see this guy do good because I believe in his style. I believe in his philosophy. He's a stubborn man. But so are all the other great managers. Was Sir Alex Ferguson not stubborn? Is Pep Guardiola not stubborn? Is Jurgen Klopp not stubborn? Is Carlo Ancelotti not stubborn in their own ways? They're all stubborn because they are men that value and respect themselves. So when they believe in something, or when they believe something is the correct thing, they stick to their laurels and they go down with it. They do not flip flop. And this is somebody that we need. We need this type of personality at the club. I know some people don't like his interviews. I know some people, don't like the things, or the way he is when he's speaking to the media. But we've seen in recent weeks that there is a character in there. He is just more reserved because he really doesn't like to give the media a lot of stuff. But, he, at the end of that season, he really came out and showed it by the things he was saying and the way he was saying about it. Even after the FA Cup, man. Even after the FA Cup. He literally mic dropped them and said, listen, he said, if they don't want me, they don't want me. He said, I done my job. I know I'm good. He said, and I know I will go to another club and I will continue to win trophies. Erik ten Hag hasn't said something in that manner the entire season, pretty much, before that, and that's a very strong statement. So there is a character in there that fits Manchester United, I believe, 100%. Lions is saying, next Erik ten Hag gets Gallagher in, and my prediction will be completed. The Gallagher dream will live for you, Lions. I haven't seen any links to that, but if we do, I will remember that you were the one that manifested this Gallagher transfer. And yes, I did get a haircut. Thank you. Thank you. I needed one. I was looking almost homeless. I let it carried away a little bit. Guys, smash the like button for me if you can, real quick. Thank you. And please, one can dream. Absolutely. Grace is saying Gallagher is my dream signing. Now is your dream signing too, Grace? Grace is on a high today. Coming in with the positivities. I love it. Just checking the internet. And by the way, I don't know if you guys are on Twitter, like as active as I am, but if you are, there is a man, by the way, and I want to point this out because I feel the need to. There's a man on Twitter. His name is Ross Harwood. He pretends to be an in the know Manchester United journalist, whatever person you want to call him, right? This guy was saying for weeks and weeks and weeks that it's over for Ten Hag, it's over, it's done, and all that. As soon as it was announced by David Ornstein, Fabrizio Romano, and everybody else that is actually respected and credible, he tweeted, and I'm quoting this: "Next season is already a write-off." Then, this guy is a fraud. Guy is an absolute fraud. So if you're on Twitter and you ever see that guy, don't follow his news. Don't listen to him. He's not credible. He has been absolutely exposed. And that guy's a joke. So don't pay attention to that, because on this channel we respect realness and we respect authenticity. And that's how we run these things here. And we don't have time for these fake people disrespecting our manager and making up lies and spreading lies throughout the fan base. Now I'm just checking for more updates because there's a lot of things going on here. Let's see. So Mike Keegan is saying, do not underestimate the role of fan opinion in this. Decision makers well aware of large numbers of Manchester United supporters who wanted Erik ten Hag to stay. So that's two different things that have been stated by the media tonight. That, number one, that the fans have had a huge input into the decision by INEOS, and as well as the FA Cup win. It was reported that the FA Cup win was one of the big factors that in the decision to keep Erik ten Hag. So they said that they seen the untapped potential that this manager can still provide to this club. Jakob Steinberg is cancelled as well because he was the one that came out and said Manchester United decide to sack Erik ten Hag regardless of cup final outcome. He has absolute egg on his face today. He's lost all credibility, and I don't think anybody's going to be really taking him seriously going forward after the last couple of days he's had. That guy is absolutely in the mud, and you know what? He should be. He should be. Let's see. We have a couple more. Well, we have a side piece. That is Juventus expect to sign Mason Greenwood in the coming weeks. United's asking price starts from 50 million euros, but Juventus have started the negotiations at 30 million euros plus bonuses, and that's coming from Damasio. So that's pretty credible as well, because Damasio, while he's not a Manchester United, like he's not a David Ornstein, like how David Ornstein is for Manchester United. Damasio, when it comes to anything that has to do with Italian, he is very, very good, very, very credible, and pretty much on the money. So seems like Mason Greenwood is going to end up at Juventus, which is good though. This is good news because we need that money. And that would be one player out already. The manager is staying, and then I'm expecting signings to come like really soon. Like they're gonna have to start and bring in somebody. There's a potential that we might lose out on Elise. Chelsea are really stepping it up in their conversations with Elise, and it's looking like we might lose out to that, and maybe INEOS has kind of stepped this up and decided, let's just make this decision now because we're going to lose out on potential signings, and maybe that might be part of it as well. That hasn't been reported yet, but I'm sure something along those lines will probably be reported. Lyle's in here. Good to see you, Lyle. Great news to end the day with. Yep, we weren't going to go live, but here we are. This woke me up. I was like half asleep. I couldn't even barely move. And here we are. It is absolutely, I'm dying down here. The lights are killing me. It's hot as hell. But yeah, so what are you guys thinking? What are you guys feeling, on this news? Again, a couple of you weren't here, so I'll just rerun this back for everybody, right? So this, obviously David Ornstein broke it. Fabrizio followed up with it. David Ornstein with the exclusive. Fabrizio, confirming Erik ten Hag is staying, and the contract talks will follow. David Ornstein saying that there he was, exclusive, staying. He also went on to say, the end of season review has ended with the position to keep him. After talks today, Dutchman will remain at Old Trafford and hold negotiations over a contract extension. So, it's not just he's staying for one more year. He is getting a contract extension as long as the results are at least decent. Um, so Ray's saying, "Let's go, guys! Get few players out and get 4 or 5 players in," and I think that's what we need. And but you know what? We need to get as many. We need to get in as many players in and as many players out. Thank you, Lyle. Appreciate it. Yeah, I got the new haircut, and then I got this yesterday, but yeah, it goes good. You know, Erik's getting a new contract, and Erik got a new haircut. So these things keep happening somehow. I don't know. We seem to be linked in some ways here. I don't know how this keeps happening, but let's keep it going. You know. Uh, but thank you guys. I appreciate it. Yeah, I was looking bummy, so I had to go get one, and for the vacation and all that, and I got a big event coming up, so I'm keeping up on the news here. Um, yeah, that's something that we're thankful for here. That we never have to hear Southgate as a secret agreement to join as a manager again. Yeah, that's over. I was getting so tired of that. And thank God that is over. That is at least for now. You never know. These guys, I still don't trust them like that. I'm sure if it doesn't work out in some sort of way that, you know, um, somewhere down the line they might go back in for him, which would just absolutely be diabolical. But um, what am I looking at? Uh, so discussion's already going. So here's a good question to pose to you guys. What are the expectations for next season for Manchester United as of right now? Um, I think a fair I think like a fair expectation would be top four, um, a trophy with consistent like good style of play. And we need to show some dominating performances against the lower opposition, and we need to play strong away as well. I think those are things and areas that we need to see from the squad next year and from Erik ten Hag. The away form has been rough for the past 3 seasons or so. Um, we and like I said, you got to go as far as possible in all of the cups. And you got to try and win one. The more that he can do, the better for him. And the better for us, because it makes the club look better. It makes the club look like it's moving in a positive direction. Um, and this is the thing that I've been saying. Like you don't want, as long as there's something there. Like Gareth Southgate has absolutely nothing to offer, so I could never back him, and I would never back him from day one, right? But there's something. Erik ten Hag has something there. Like he showed some glimmers, some glimpses at moments, at times, right? The team has done that as well, and if he succeeds, that means we succeed. That means we all look better. Everything looks better. Richard Hawkins is here. Richard, he is staying. He is staying. It is pretty much dead on. Obviously the club haven't made the announcement yet. We're waiting for that. That might not come today. That probably will come tomorrow because it's pretty late. So I'm expecting, and they're gonna announce that, because they have to do the negotiations for the new contract. So I assume once they finish those, um, and that's finalized, they will come out with an official club statement. But it's pretty much 100% dead on. David Ornstein, Fabrizio Romano, James Ducker from the Telegraph, every and any credible journalist outlet has reported this tonight. So it's done. It's done. It's done. And thank God it's done. Thank God it's done, because we were all tired of it. So Line saying, so do you have a second appointment at the hairdressers? uh if the Lyle saying, if the league doesn't go to plan, then Europa at all costs. Well, yeah. that has to be one of the main targets, right? Champions League. I think if we don't get back into Champions League, it's going to be a huge failure. And I think his job will be severely under threat once again, with the possibility of him losing it. I don't think INEOS will accept not getting into the Champions League and not being in it 2 years in a row. So I think the minimum, obviously, is top four, unless he can win the Europa League and get us in that way. Um, you know, so quadruple perhaps. All right, we're getting a little carried away. Let's see how it goes first. Let's see how it goes. We need a good window. We need everybody to be prepared. We need everybody to be on their top game, be in shape, be fit, and ready to go and ready to fight. But I'm super excited because there's players in there like Lisandro Martinez, like Bruno Fernandes, like Diego Dalot. I think even Marcus Rashford. There's a lot of players there. Even Garnacho and Manu. I think Garnacho and Manu didn't want Ten Hag to go. There's a lot of players there that they probably really wanted Erik Ten Hag to stay. They didn't want him to be sacked. And now that he's staying, again, I'm gonna say it, it's bringing stability. There was the news with Bruno Fernandes that he was waiting to see what was going to be with the decision with Erik Ten Hag, with the possibility of if they sack him, he might leave. I think that's pretty much dead now as well, because Bruno Fernandes is Ten Hag's captain. Ten Hag absolutely loves Bruno Fernandes, and he is always going to be one of the most important players, part of his squad. So I think now Bruno's staying. I don't think Bruno's going anywhere. Not even if a huge offer comes in, because I don't think Ten Hag will want it, and Bruno won't accept it. So I think there's a lot of positives that's coming out of this. That's coming out of this. Line saying we need Gallagher. Um, of course. Richard Hawking saying this live from the BBC. Erik Ten Hag will remain as manager of Manchester United following a postseason review by the club's board. It is understood they are now talking to Ten Hag about extending his contract. Yes, we had that here. I know you were late, Richard. Oh yes, absolutely. So, and that's what I was talking about earlier. Is that the fact that it's not only that they're keeping him on, because we've been discussing for weeks now that, come on, just give him one more season. He deserves one more season. We want to see him one more season. But I always said, oh yes, we have to get onto that as well. Lions. We always said one more season, right? But now they're giving him a longer contract. Whether it's 2-3 years more. But that's important because it shows a stronger vote of confidence. And this is something that I said on a show maybe like 2 weeks ago, where I said that it's the process was annoying. The process was not the nicest process. We were upset that the way they kind of handled it, they never really backed him publicly. But I said, at the end of the day, the ultimate backing will be the decision. And when they make the decision, and if they make the decision to keep him, that's the ultimate backing. Because now, everything else is completely irrelevant. The way that they didn't, say anything to the public or try to, quell down the rumors that were written by all these journalists that got it completely wrong, and were driving an agenda and a narrative, that is all irrelevant now, because he is staying and he's getting a contract extension. That is the biggest vote of confidence you could get. It's bigger than Sir Jim coming out and making some fluff statement before the review even started, or in the middle of the process of it. So, but yes, just a quick little tidbit. Amori Forson has left the club, Manchester United. If you guys didn't hear that, that has happened. He has left on a free transfer. He's gone to Monza in the Serie A. So we wish him the best. I'm gonna be 100% honest. I wasn't really convinced with him, but again, he is young. And you never know what could happen. But from what I saw from him, he did look like he probably needed a loan or something like that. I never really like when the youngsters leave so young, because he is still fairly young, and I felt like if you give him a loan or two, let him get consistent first team football at a higher um level, and let's see what he develops into. But he's chosen that he wants to go somewhere else. So it is what it is. But yeah, he's gone on a free. Let me check the news to see if anything else is breaking, because and we could just put it in a little bit of a perspective. Ten Hag ended Klopp's era in the FA Cup. Ten Hag was the man that won the FA Cup and beat Man City. He stopped Manchester City from doing the quadruple last season. He embarrassed Barcelona in Europe. And he's got 2 trophies in 2 seasons. I mean, that's pretty positive to me, when you put it in that perspective, right? So, yeah. Let me see. So just to break it down a little bit more, because there were some things that we didn't mention, right? So Ten Hag, obviously confirmed staying Greenwood to Juventus, as we mentioned, who are interested in a 30 million plus deal. Casemiro might be going to Saudi for 30 million plus, which in my opinion is fucking low fee. I feel like it should be higher. But and then we are keeping an eye on Elise, Brantwaite, Todibo, Yoro, Neves. Those are the ones to watch right now. Those are the ones with the strongest links. But that to me is a very exciting list of players anyway. They're all quality. And I don't see one player in there that I wouldn't want at the club. So I think we have some exciting things coming up, and now we can all move forward. It's I'm just ecstatic. I'm just reading through some news, so give me a second. Excuse the silence or the pauses. So Rich Fay, this is what I was saying before. Some of you might have missed it. So Rich Fay, if you know Rich Fay on Twitter, right? Rich Fay, Manchester United reporter, at Mank World UK. He's come out and said that so Manchester United's spirited performance in the FA Cup final victory over Manchester City was viewed as a key reason why he should stay in the job. A match which showcased the huge untapped potential he still has to offer. And then he followed that up by saying, there's also a feeling that Erik ten Hag has done well to achieve what he has done already with the squad that is clearly in need of improvement in the summer transfer window. So these are all very good things to hear. Very, very good things to hear. Absolutely, because I think it sentiments a lot of the things that we have been saying and we have been pretty much demanding. So Jim, what people mean? Rich Fay also saying new contract talks with Erik ten Hag could see his role change to a head coach instead of manager as part of the ongoing restructuring of the club's hierarchy. So that's actually a big statement from Rich Fay as well. So Erik ten Hag may, going forward, when they agree to this contract extension, he will no longer be considered a manager of Manchester United, but he will be the head coach of Manchester United, which actually always seemed, we've been saying that. That's what INEOS seems like they want to do. They just want the guy to coach the squad, really focus more on the squad itself. Um, which I don't know how I necessarily feel about it. We got to see how it goes. Um, you know, we got to see how that goes. But a lot of people, right? Not a lot of people, but a lot of clubs seem to be going in this direction. I mean, Bayern Munich are doing it. Um, who is the other club that's doing it? There's a couple clubs that are moving in that direction where it's like they Chelsea are doing it. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. It could be the greatest thing. It could be bad. My thing on that would be Erik ten Hag. While I agree that he should take a back seat to the transfers and all this stuff, he still has to have an input of some sort. He still has to have a say, and his input and say has to hold some type of weight. Because going forward, it's probably going to be by some type of a committee, right? Of who they bring in and what player and, all that stuff. But the manager cannot just be 100% ignored. And I feel like the way INEOS are going to run it, I think it would be kind of crazy for them to just 100% ignore the manager or the head coach anyway. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's like the right thing. I don't think they're going to do that just because it's not the correct thing to do. No club does that. And any club that has, it's never been successful and it's ended in failure. I mean, there was that point where Tuchel at Chelsea, where they were literally just buying players and they were getting players that Tuchel didn't even want at all. And they were ignoring all the players that he said. And look how that ended up. So you can't go down that way. But slightly at Liverpool, and at Manchester City, they do have committees, right? But obviously Klopp and Guardiola's input was respected and had some weight to it. So I think it's important that we look out for that because going down the line, if Erik ten Hag or whoever the head coach is at the time, if they're being 100% ignored, if they're not even being taken into consideration, and INEOS or the board are getting players that are the total opposite to what Erik ten Hag or the manager needs at that time, then then it's gonna end up in a disaster. Ten Hag is Dutch. It's not in his nature to be ignored. Well, yeah, but he, not even that he's Dutch. He is a strong charactered man. Like, you can't do that to somebody. Even if you're not, you know what I mean. You can't. It just doesn't work. It would erode the relationship at the club. And it would turn toxic because then it's like you got a guy here that doesn't feel like he's being respected, doesn't feel like he's listened to. And maybe he doesn't give a crap about his job anymore. Maybe doesn't respect his higher ups any longer. There has to be some type of a mutual respect going forward for all parties. If this is how it's gonna work. Um, Lyle was saying on the real though, so glad Erik ten Hag is staying, man. It is 100% the correct decision. Let the man cook next season. Absolutely, Lyle. Absolutely. Monitoring FC. Yeah, still for now, but you know what? I expect to see some movement. I still think. I mean, let's see how the first signing goes. Now that this situation is done and dealt with and dusted. Obviously, we can start working on a couple different fronts because obviously, like he's staying, so all they have to really do is work on the contract extension part. But they could probably do that simultaneously while now moving more advanced for players. Where I think before we were really getting held up because it's hard to go and negotiate with a player, and the player's agent sits down with them and says, "Well, what's going on with the manager?" And they either can't tell them or they don't want to tell them. It's very hard to go sign a player when the manager situation is up in the air. It's not a good look. The player and the player's agent might be concerned because again, it shows like a lack of stability. It doesn't show necessarily strength in terms of that. So, now that this is done and dusted, now we can go to the negotiation table with players and start hammering out deals. So let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. INEOS definitely need that communication officer. Well, yeah, they need to step it up. But you know what it is? Listen, I try to be fair. You guys know that. You guys know that. So, but since Sir Jim has come in, right? We have gotten at least more statements from Sir Jim himself than we ever got from the club or the Glazers, Ed Woodward, Richard Arnold. So there is a slight improvement on the communication, but it can do much better. And maybe that is going to take some time. There's a lot of things that need to be fixed and dealt with right now that are probably big and important, and it's going to take a lot of work. But maybe eventually down the line, the communication will get better. I think it's already slightly improved because before we used to hear F all at all. Obviously during this manager situation, they really kept it under wraps. Now some people argue that they should do that because people don't like leaks. People don't like any of that stuff coming out. They just want the business to be done behind closed doors, and then you make the announcement. So let's see what happens when they fully extend the contract and they make the official statement. Let's see what the official statement says. Let's see, if Sir Jim Ratcliffe specifically says something or anybody else. 40 mil for Greenwood plus Bremer. Elise is not a priority, Eric. Well, I seen that he's pretty important to them. That's what I was reading today. So, I he might not be a priority per se in what we need, but he might be a priority for INEOS because INEOS rate him highly. They've pretty much put all they've pretty much been talking about Elise nonstop since 2 months or a month after they came in. And it's just continued. So for us in terms of the squad building, we might not see it as a number one priority, but from what's being reported for the INEOS side, they definitely see him as a top priority player. Um, they are definitely highly interested in him, and they definitely do not want to lose him to Chelsea. So I'm trying to find that for you because I remember reading it earlier today, and I wanted to be as accurate as possible. Also, we had some news. I was going to talk about this tomorrow, but we might as well do it now when we're live. There was a Joshua Xerxes story. That he is emerging as one of United's primary transfer targets this summer. United have made their interest clear in signing the Bologna striker. Xerxes has a 34 million release clause in his contract. So again, this is another player that we might be able to go and get and do it sort of fast. I know that the links to AC Milan are strong, but there was some things that have swung kind of back in our way today that were pretty strong statements. He has a buyout clause, and you could do the deal pretty fast. So buyout clause, you go completely around the negotiations for the team, and you go strictly into negotiations with the players. So we'll keep an eye out on that and see what develops from there. Rob Dawson was saying that United have drawn up a list of striker targets, so we could talk about the strikers because we talked about the center backs, we've talked about some midfielders, and today we got pretty much an updated list of strikers, which include obviously Xerxes, as we just mentioned, Ivan Toney, Jonathan David. Those are the top three that I'm seeing right now at this moment. I'm still looking for that story. And Fabrizio did say earlier today that Manchester United are waiting to resolve the manager situation before they start moving for new transfers. Well, the manager situation is basically now sorted, except for the contract extension. So that's what I'm saying. I expect to be moving to new transfers now. So I really where did I see this story this morning? Forcing. Nah, I can't find it, but it was there. I seen something on Elisa. Maybe if I type it up or something. Um, but that's pretty much. Oh yeah, that's also another thing that we didn't mention. Not for nothing. That's pretty much Jadon Sancho done and dusted. Um, in my opinion, because if Ten Hag was gone, you could say there might have been an opportunity. Lions. Are you not familiar with Fabrizio Romano? Fabrizio Romano is one of the probably most credible, if not the most credible, journalists out there. He is basically anytime he says something, it's 100% confirmed. He gets some backlash. Some people call him a tap-in merchant because he kind of shows up at the end and kind of taps things in when it's like safe to announce it. But that's why a lot of people like him, because he doesn't just put out a bunch of crap. I just wondering how he gets his shit. Connections, man. Connections. How does anybody get anything in this world? It's all about who you know, not what you know, right? What you know comes from who you know. Yeah, he just has a lot of connections. He started off in Italy. He knows a lot of people. He has good relationships with people. And he's built that up over the past few years. So he's really turned it into something. For himself. And some people, like I said, they don't like him. Just for the fact of they call him a tap-in merchant. But some people do like him because they don't like all that extra bullshit, like how we seen with the rest of the journalists over this Ten Hag saga, right? Because they were pretty much writing up shit and they were guessing and they didn't have a clue. And they were proven to do that. And like Fabrizio, for example, when he comes out and says something, Fabrizio never said Ten Hag is 100% staying, and he never said Ten Hag is 100% sacked. Fabrizio always said that Ten Hag, there is a review going, and his job is 50-50. And that's it. There was no extra bullshit. There was no fluff. You know what I mean? So, I like him because I like that. I like that. I don't care about that shit. But yeah, that's, Richard saying that's the haircut from Walter. Yeah, yeah. I had to get it. Also, I got an event coming up on Friday that I gotta go to before I get out of here on Tuesday. Flights on Tuesday. So I'll probably try to do one last stream before we hit the air on Monday. And then we'll set it up when I get over there. Might be a couple days. I might miss some stuff. So if you don't see me go live, don't get worried right away. You know what I mean? I will make it happen, but the first couple days or so might be a little bit hectic, but I'm going to try and have everything set up and all that, So what else are you guys saying in here? I might have missed this. I hope everyone gets behind him and the team now. Well, unfortunately, Richard, not everybody will be behind him, or the team. It's going to be based on performances. There's a lot of people, not a lot of people, but there are people out there that, there are a lot of people out there that they wanted him sacked. They wanted him gone. And I'm not going to lie to you. If you are a Twitter person, if you go on Twitter or X as they call it now, right? There's a couple of these Manchester United aggregators, right? Listen, I've been in a couple of their group chats for transfers and stuff like that over the last 2 weeks. And, while they don't necessarily aggregate agendas, they do have their own personal agendas. There was one or two of them that they are staunch Ten Hag outers. They didn't want Ten Hag to stay. They're now reporting positive news like they always wanted Ten Hag to stay. So you got to be careful with people and stuff like that because, everybody has an angle to try and hit. And I just, I didn't like it. Like I ended up leaving because I went in there for news and to keep up with the transfer stuff and have a good conversation with some other people that or on Twitter and stuff like that. And the guy that was running it and runs this very large aggregator account, like the things he was like, I hope Ten Hag gets sacked, he needs to go, and all this, and posting stuff and trying to push out news from people that he considers credible because they were pushing news that was like in favor of Tuchel or a different manager. And now, I'm seeing him post stuff that's like positive, like he always wanted Ten Hag to stay. And I'm just like, dude, like, come on. That's not authentic, dude. I don't respect that. So, you know, um, yeah, don't worry about the grammar lines. We are not in school. We're not grading you. Don't worry about it. Jadon Sancho is very quiet. I mean, he should be. He should be because he's done at this football club. Obviously it was reported at some point that I think it was yesterday or the day before that regardless of the manager, Manchester United were looking to move him on. Well, that's definitely guaranteed now because he's obviously never going to apologize to Erik Ten Hag. And Erik Ten Hag is therefore never going to want him to be part of the squad again. So he's done. He's done. If Ten Hag went, there might have been a good chance that maybe he would have been allowed to come back in, especially depending on the manager that was coming in. Lies saying if you don't go live, then red card. Yeah, no, I will. I will. And if you don't want us to worry, then you need to call us as soon as you land. I will put out some type of post or something, just to keep you guys updated and kind of put out a timeline of like when I plan to be able to go live. But for sure, so like Tuesday won't be able to do it. Wednesday it ain't gonna happen. Because I'm gonna get there. I'm getting there Wednesday, and then I'm gonna be doing stuff or whatever. And then maybe Thursday might be a stretch. So maybe the Friday. But also, you know what? I have to try and figure out. No. I know you guys are joking. I'm just saying. Um I have to try and figure out the times because I realized that like because I live here, it's a good time for you guys when I've been doing the show. But now the time is going to be totally screwed up because for example, like right now over there it is 12:32 in the morning the next day from me. So I've been doing the shows over here at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which translates to 10 p.m. Their time, which will will be a problem on some days because 10 p.m. I'm gonna be outside. I'm not gonna be home. Um, pretty much almost all the time. So I'm gonna have to try and figure out a better time to stream that is good for everybody. Um, Lion saying all those trophies going to fit in your luggage. By the way, no. We're sending a container. A container. We're sending a shipping container with all the trophies and the desk. And the desk. We need to take the desk. Um, yeah. No, those aren't coming with me. We're leaving them here. We're leaving them here. You're gonna get a nice traditional inside house of a background of a Maltese house. You're gonna see a nice limestone. Gonna be limestone on the walls back here. Nice big cinder blocks of limestone. It's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be beautiful. Um, yeah. Uh, Let me check to see if there was any other news. Fabrizio Romano now saying, okay, we got a couple more updates, so we could put this way. Simon Stone saying some things. Simon Stone. So Simon Stone saying that Erik Ten Hag is delighted with today's outcome. I mean, obviously, thanks Simon Stone. I could have told you that. Breaking news. Breaking news. Or Goldberg says, slow sports news. Ten Hag is delighted with today's outcome. Yeah, no shit. He kept his job. And he didn't get sacked. No, Imagine he was upset because all he wanted was to get paid, and now he's like, fuck, I gotta stay here more. um, but Simon Stone with some more prevalent stuff. Um, has come out and said Erik ten Hag is known to be delighted at the outcome on Tuesday, although there have been suggestions he was getting irritated at the time taken for Manchester United to reach their conclusion. I mean, who wasn't irritated? They took their sweet ass time to do this decision. They probably took too long. If if we're all going to be honest, they took too long. INEOS needs to be quick and efficient in their decisions. That is the point of operating competently. You got to be quick and efficient. Obviously, this wasn't that quick or efficient. Obviously, it could have gone on longer, which would have been looked even more incompetent. But this could have been done quicker, and it should have been done quicker, in the opinion of many people. And maybe you guys agree with that or not, but I feel like you do. But so Fabrizio Romano has said Manchester United believed the 65 cases of injury or illness this season was a crucial factor in why the results were so poor. This was discussed in the end of season review. Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's something that we have been saying. It's something that the entire fan base pretty much has been saying. So absolutely, it had an effect. I mean, listen, if we had one or two players fit for a more multiple games, and me specifically, I would identify those two players as Lisandro Martinez and Rafael Varane. If we had them fit for 5 extra matches, 10 extra matches than they were, we would have never finished 8th. I feel like we probably would have been able to close that gap on 4th place, being just 8 points off, because there was a couple games where we didn't play great, but we could have pulled off the result, obviously. But it wasn't the greatest performance. We dropped a lot of points here and there over stupid stuff. There was obviously games that we just didn't show up at all. So those were probably lost causes. But at the end of the day, of course that had an effect. And this is what we were saying the whole time. Is like, you can't put the whole blame, like, just because we finished 8th, you can't put the whole blame on them. That's why these people, I never took them seriously, because just like how we were arguing that he won an FA Cup, and they're telling us, oh, but one match can't determine that, or it can't be the deciding factor of if he stays or not. Well, finishing 8th one season, with all the injuries and all the crap that went on, can't be the determining factor either, because it's not on him. Lyle saying we're still gonna smash the like button, bro. We got you. Thank you. I appreciate you guys, and you guys have done so, because we have about just you guys in here, and everybody has smashed the like button. So I appreciate that. Obviously, it was late, and we were competing with all the other bigger channels, so, I can't even be mad if some of our other viewers, went over there. I 100% understand. I almost watched it myself, but like I said, I always promised that if anything big or breaking would go, we would go live, so I had to go live. It's not about the numbers at the end of the day, it's about the people in the community that want to be here and have this discussion, and that's what we're here for. So, Ray saying INEOS needs to hijack a couple good players. Yeah, I don't even know if we need to hijack a couple good players. We just need to go for our targets and get them, because all of the players that we have on the lists so far, in my opinion, they're all pretty much good. There isn't no Wout Weghorst. There's no Igalos. There's no player that I see right now that isn't really gonna be up to it. They're fairly all at a good age. There's nobody that's like 30 years old. There's nobody that's like too young. There's a lot of people 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. There's maybe one or two that are like 27 or something like that. So it's a good mix. So we just have to go and get these targets. I think the list that we have right now, and if this list is accurate, I think it's a pretty good list. I actually think it's probably one of the better lists that we've had in quite some time, because it's a lot of different factors between potential, ability, age, fitness, injury record, all these different factors, performances. These players are pretty quality all around. Pretty much all of them. Obviously some are better than others, but you know, um, Richard saying, I think that's good that it's basically what he did at Ajax when Van der Sar was there. Yes. But that's what I'm saying. I think he came here and was like, I need to take charge, because he talked to Van Gaal. He probably talked to a couple other people. He probably looked into, because listen, Erik Ten Hag is a very thorough man. He is like a book manager, if you want to call it like that. Like he likes statistics, he likes data and all that stuff. He goes by that stuff. He lives by that off on the book. He probably looked into the people at Manchester United, did a little background and research on them, right? And he probably knew as well that they weren't the best of the best or best in class to be operating. So to protect himself, he did ask for all of that, power, because he was like, listen, if I'm going to come here, I'm going to put my name and my job and my reputation on the line, then I would rather do it myself than have you guys fuck it up for me like you've been doing to everybody else that came before me. But now, because the setup is going to be different, and these people are supposed to be more qualified, right? I think he's a little bit more okay with letting that go and having a similar setup to what he's had at Ajax. I don't think Erik is necessarily, while he may be stubborn, I don't think he's not a fool. He's not stupid, and he doesn't strike me as somebody that's overly greedy. He doesn't seem like he's 100% um power hungry. He demands respect, and he demands, like, a uniformed team mentality. But that's not power hungry. So, Bray, who is that player that you're saying? I don't know who that is. Let the rewrite that. Lion saying something random. McKenna visited my daughter's school today. No way. She wasn't impressed that as he's not United. Her impression changed when I told her he used to be. That's crazy. He visited her, but you didn't get. If I could, I've been like, listen, how close were you coming to United? Was that ever real? You ever speak to INEOS? I would have got some inside. You could have got us some inside exclusive information, Lionhearts. We could have broke that. We could have broke that to the world. I'm joking. I'm joking. Yeah, yeah. Oh, you didn't know till today? Yeah, yeah. But that's cool though. That's cool that he showed up there. I wish. I wish. One day. One day, I want to bump into one of these guys on the street somewhere or something. Something like that. That's always a good time. Um, Let me see. Any other news? We're gonna end it. I'm gonna keep it short today. Because I still gotta go take care of things and it's getting a little bit late. But before we get out, I'm just gonna check to make sure this news. And then we are still gonna do the live stream tomorrow. This does not change that, right? So I have that planned for tomorrow. 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. UTC. Um, Richard Hawkins saying Richard Arnold has taken up a position as sales executive for Norton Motorcycles. Okay, is that a joke or is that real? Because either way, it's hilarious. Either way, if it's real, it's hilarious, and if it's a joke, it's also hilarious. But yeah, that says a lot and explains a lot. But we all knew that they would never get another job, and they knew that too. That's why they always wanted to stay at Manchester United. They knew they would never get a job like that ever again. They would never qualified for it. So, you know, Lions. She's only 9. Didn't care nor for the pretty trophy. Steph is a Steph. We're glad to have you here. Big up Erik and Erik, she says. Yes, absolutely. We have gotten the decision, Steph. 12 likes. Yes, 12 likes while competing with the rest of the entire, basically, Manchester United fan base. Obviously the Football Terrace went live, the United View went live, the United Stand went live, and pretty much every other United channel that's probably out there has gone live. So you know what? 12 likes with everybody else, going live all at the same time and getting whatever we got. I still think that's huge. That's huge. So, and everybody that's been here, I greatly appreciate you guys as always, because you are holding up this channel and this community, and you are carrying it. So we greatly always appreciate you guys coming in here, and it's good to see you, Steph. Richard saying, where do we go with that? Xerxes will work, but I would like Garasay. Well, Garasay didn't get mentioned today, so I don't know if that was just like something that was never 100% credible. Maybe we go back in for him. Yeah, let's see. Let's see what happens on that front. But at least we're getting some kind of a striker list, a more fortified striker list now, which is also pretty. It's also pretty. It's a good indication, in my opinion, because I feel like back in the day we would just get like reported with one player, and it would just be like this player, this player, this player for like 4.5 weeks, and then they would be like, oh, the deal is dead, and then they would just like move on to a different player in a different position. Whereas like right now we're getting a lot of news on multiple different positions and multiple different players for that position. So, you can see already this. I mean, there's slight differences, right? They're not the major improvements that we want to see, right? Or that are that big of a deal, but they are slight differences, in my opinion. Lyle saying BBC reported Arnold News 10 hours ago, so it's true. Okay. All right. Yeah, I don't have the BBC news here, and I don't really pay attention to them, but okay, good to know. Good to know. But yep, still hilarious. Still hilarious. Line saying we still got a good turnout. Yeah, absolutely. As we always do, because we have the best community members here. Everybody is an absolute legend and OG. And I promise you all, if we ever make it to where we have like thousands or something like that, I will remember all of you, obviously. So and then you guys, I'll let you guys on a little secret, since it's only just us in here, right? You guys will always get priority, right? So if we ever have like 2,000 people watching the live, or more at one point, I'm always gonna keep you guys in my head. And so when you guys comment, they won't know, but I'm giving you guys priority. You won't even have to send super chats. I'll do my best to find you in there, and I'll read you out. So what else we saying? Ray's saying win the FA Cup this year is improvement over last year. Yeah. In the sense of trophies, absolutely. Obviously, not the league position. I wish that we didn't have the injury crisis. Because I really feel like if we didn't, we could have got fourth. We could have won the FA Cup, and that would have just been 100% positive, because they would have been like, fourth, Champions League, and we won the FA Cup, which is a step up in cups. So a lot of more people would have been backing Ten Hag. It would have been a stronger case for him. But Lia's saying we good here, man. The other chats aren't as interactive and are super crazy. I chill on United People's TV to listen to Sam, but also I always get a free membership. Yeah, I know. They got a lot of stuff going on there. I mean, listen, we might end up like that one day too. You know what I mean? But again, I'm telling you, I will remember you guys. So if you ever come in here, it might be hectic, but I will somehow find you guys and reach out. You know what I mean? I will always remember you guys. So, Stephanie's saying United now need replace Varane and Casemiro, possibly minimum 3 new players into starting lineup. Yeah, 100%, Steph. 100%, Steph. Branthwaite seems like the main guy right now. From their end. Everton are being stubborn though. they're staying stubborn. They're really trying to hold out for like 70 million, 75 million. I think I mentioned before, we could still get Euro, and there is also the possibility of Tadibo. So I guess it really depends on how stubborn Everton are going to be. If they're not willing to negotiate a lower price, then INEOS might decide to just move on, and go get a Tadibo or a Euro or a Nacio, from Sporting Lisbon, or a Diamande or somebody like that. So yeah, I think somebody for Veron is definitely coming. Um, and Casemiro, I said before that it was reported that he might be going to Saudi Arabia for it. Now, this is the disappointing thing for me, and I don't know why the fee is so low, but it was 30 million plus, to Saudi Arabia, which I'm not happy about, because I feel like we should be getting at least 50. I know he's old and whatever, but it's Casemiro. We should be negotiating and getting and taking that Saudi money. We should be trying to hit them for as much money as possible. So, you know, I, I I don't know. I hope we don't sell Casemiro for 30, because we need as much money as possible. I would like to sell him for 50 somehow. 45. Um, you know, we need to see. We need to see. Um, yeah, Richard. Lila's just there after the for the freebies. Yeah, yeah. Free fight tickets for meet and greet. You heard it here first, people. Lila said, "Dude, I'm gonna support your channel no matter what. We gonna be huge one day, and I will help where I can." Well, thank you, Lila. I appreciate that. We are going to be. I like the enthusiasm. We are definitely going to get some. Be one of the biggest ever. We could be decently sized. I was thinking about that today, and I was like, you know what? I don't know how big I want to be, because listen, I'm not saying it. I'm not saying I'm gonna be like this, right? But I was thinking just about, like, dude, imagine you're like your Goldbridge, right? And you have that amount of people, right? It's a lot of responsibility, and it's a lot of things to deal with as well. Like, he's got the biggest channel there is, right? It's a lot of you can't say a lot of things, you can't do a lot of things. Where he lives, people know him, you know what I mean? So when he walks outside and all that stuff, it's very different. It's very different. But um, I'm still okay with it. I'll go as high as we possibly can. As high as we possibly can. Um and we will try and make this just the best and greatest community, you know what I mean? At the same time, I'm okay if we always have like if we have like 1,000 people, 2,000, whatever. I'm okay with that too. Um, you know, as long as we just have this strong, solid core community, and people like Lyle and everybody else that's in here that actually wants to be here, that are proud to be here, and that get involved. You know what I mean? That's the most important thing. That's the most important thing. Bayern is selling Matthias de Ligt. What you think? Oh, okay, that's what you were talking about before. Yeah, we talked about that the other day. I mean, he's still pretty good. De Ligt is still pretty good. Something that I'm unsure of is I don't know why, but I feel like he might have problems with injuries. But I might be wrong about that. But I feel like he's been on and off injured again. So I might be a little bit concerned there, but if the injury record is pretty clean, then I don't have a problem with that. I think he's pretty good. My friend is a Bayern Munich fan, a big Bayern Munich fan. He loves De Ligt. He thinks De Ligt is fantastic, and he's always telling me good things about De Ligt. And when I've seen De Ligt play, he's played pretty good. Not that I've seen him a whole lot, but when I have seen him play, I think he's played well. So I think De Ligt is pretty good. And they should go for him. I mean, there's the Dutch connection, former Ten Hag player as well. Imagine you partner De Ligt next to Lisandro Martinez. I think that's looking pretty solid right there. But that was, the links to Brantwaite, Euro, to Debo are stronger than the one it is to De Ligt. So, I don't know if that's going to necessarily happen, but, Warren J is in here. Warren, good to see you. Glad you could join us. saying it's about time they confirm the manager, saying it is absolutely 110% about time. Thank God. Um, Lines doesn't like the lit. He wants Van de Ven. Van de Ven is he's speedy. He's a speedy little demon, isn't he? And he's strong. And he's strong. Richard agreeing, saying that he thinks the lit would be a good signing. Stephanie bigging up everybody. Everybody big up Stephanie as well. Lines tell me whatever happens, just be you and do you. That's what I plan on doing, buddy. That's what I plan on doing, because that's what I'm doing now, and there's no reason to change that. It's how I've always been, and that's how I will always be. Trust me, I've gone through a lot of things in life where, because I've chosen to do that, I might have not been the most popular in certain cases or with people or like that, but I'd rather live my life being okay with myself than having somebody else being okay with me, right? So whatever happened, Steph saying lose that personal touch if you get too big, but nice problem to have. I mean, yeah, but I will always try and keep the personal touch. It's part of the show, right? I always say this, and I'm always gonna say it. And I got this from a musician, because I actually always appreciated it. But he used to say, or I think he still says it, but every show that he does, when he's finished with the show, he always used to say, like, without you guys, I'm nothing. And he is a huge artist, by the way. He's huge, but he just used to do this whole monologue about how pretty much, like, without the fans, without the supporters, I'm nothing. I'm nothing without you. So you guys made me. I'm here because of you. So, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here. And I always saw that as authentic, because not a lot of them do that, and not a lot of them say that, and he doesn't have to do that or say that either. And it was genuine, and that took to me. So, I don't know. I just like that. Stephanie said Kim and Jay had a poor season at Bayern last season. He was target last summer. You never know how things could work out. Yeah. And also just at the same time, he could have came with us and had a good season. He could have just been better suited to the Premier League, maybe. Suited to the club, and maybe the partnership would have been better. Obviously, we didn't have a defense at one point, so it probably would have been hard, and he probably would have struggled at points, because he might have even got injured. You never know. Warren saying, I hope you remember us when you get big, bro. No, I said that. I said I'm gonna remember all of you, and I will try to find you in the chat if we ever do get that big, because obviously the chat will then get crazy and it'll be hard to read and keep up. But I will obviously always remember all your names. So if you ever come in the chat, I told you as a secret, I will just give you guys priority and read you guys out. The rest of them don't have to know. They don't have to know that. Ray saying we have to keep it in the books. See what happens 10 years from now. Keep it going, Eric. Thank you, Ray. Lion saying Martinez and Van de Ven. Oof, even Usain Bolt would struggle to outrun that. I mean, yeah, that's that would be talk about a high line. Talk about a high line. You could play with just them two in the back and literally push everybody up, and you wouldn't really have to worry, because Van de Ven is one fast fucking center back. I never seen a center back that fast, really. And Martinez is pretty. Yeah, I know about the slow mo, definitely, and subscriber only for chats to keep it manageable. Yeah, maybe at certain points for the subscribers only thing. I don't like to do that because, well, we would see how it would go, but I want everybody to kind of really just be able to have a say, right? I don't really now it depends what they're saying too, but yeah, I get what you mean. I mean, subscribe is subscribe, right? You just have to subscribe to the channel. It's not that big of a deal. It's not like you have to pay or anything. So yeah, maybe you're right on that. Plus you don't want those weirdos that just come in, say some crap and leave, right? So at least if they're gonna do that, you could give me a subscription. Dude, if 30,000 is watching, if we like our chats, read out. Yeah, that's gonna be difficult. We're gonna. I hope by that time when we get there, YouTube comes out with like an extra slow mode. So I could really read the chat because, dude, even the other day when we had like 50 people live, um, when we had 50 people concurrently watching at the same time, I was even struggling with the chat a little bit. I wasn't used to it. So, um, Sing is saying, what are your thoughts on Al Nasir on buying Casemiro for 80 to 85 million? Well, here's the thing. I didn't even see that. What I seen was that Casemiro is going to be sold for 30 million. If Al Nasir buy Casemiro for 80 to 85 million, I will literally throw a party. That's absolutely huge, but I don't think that's going to happen. But I would absolutely love that. And one side is here. One side, good to see you again. Happy for Ten Hag, and now it's about transfers. Yes, absolutely, and that's what I was saying earlier. You weren't there, right? It is about transfers, and that's why this whole thing has a big implication. Not only did we feel like we got the correct decision from INEOS. They kept our manager, which is pretty much everybody wanted him to stay. We even took the minimum and just said, just give him one more year at least and see how it goes. The fact that they're going to give him a contract extension, so it's even stronger than that, obviously, pending results, and as long as the results don't go too sideways and too crap, which I don't expect them to. But now we can really focus and move forward on the players, which is the most important part, which is what we all wanted the club to be focusing on. And we could do that now. And I hope, unlike this manager decision, I hope that the transfers are quick. I hope they're quick, and I hope we can do them efficiently, and I hope we're as ruthless as possible in doing so. Major signings, according to you, would be major signings. I mean, for me, the number one big one for me would be João Neves, because I like that guy a lot. And he's fairly expensive. But I also, I mean, I was watching him play for Portugal today, and I just like the kid. But I don't know. Just we need players in the positions that we need. I mean, the striker, I'm not 100% sold on right now. I'm not sure. I mean, what we've been linked to. Obviously, I think we probably need a more well-established striker, somebody that's a little bit older. Some of the options that we have are slightly younger, on the younger side, like Xerxes is on the younger side. But at center back, I personally, if I had the choice, I would go get Antonio Silva from Benfica. And if you can't get him, I think Inacio is good. Diomandi. I mean, all of the choices we have, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with what they get. I just want them to get them in. And then see going forward. I don't usually have too much of a personal preference. Especially nowadays, because I don't know. I used to waste all my time and just go crazy on I want this player, and then the club would never do it anyway, right? So I kind of just shift to the point of, all right, the club has its targets. We know who the targets are. Whoever they name as first, second, third choices, right? And then I kind of judge them based off there, and then I judge them even further based on their performances. So, too much talent rising from Portugal always. There's a lot of talent in Portugal. There's always been a lot of talent in Portugal. I mean, two of our good players are both Portuguese, Bruno Fernandes and Delo. We've had other Portuguese players, obviously Nani and obviously Cristiano Ronaldo. You know what I mean? So I like the Portuguese players very much. And And there's a bunch there. If I was in charge, there's quite a few. We would probably have half a Portuguese team. Forget Brexit, right? Forget Brexit, and forget the whole English core. There's probably like 4 or 5 players in the Portuguese league that I would literally go there and just buy them. We would end up with like half a Portuguese squad. So maybe it's a good thing I'm not that in charge, but I do think they are very good players. So um, for everyone present, and yeah, anybody that we. What's your guys' opinion? If you have one, like Lyle's putting out there, like if you have one major signing that you would like the club to make, that's obviously realistic, probably to like what's been reported or who we've been linked with. Who would it be? Put it down in the chat. Um, Steph saying we need players with a good team ethic over individual flair. Yes, I absolutely agree with you, Steph. I feel like Steph's been watching my show since November, and has just been saying everything I've been saying the whole time from November up until now. Because I literally been saying that. Yes, we do need that's exactly what we need. We need team players. We need people that are a good cohesion together, that go together, not just in ability, mentality, attitude wise, all of that. Um, you know, I used to play when I used to play from the age of probably 3 years old to about when I was like 21 years old, and when I was in high school, there was this kid on our school team that he was very very good. He was very very fast, but he had a horrible attitude, um, and a horrible mentality. He was a striker that refused to jump for headers. He was too good for that. He didn't like heading the ball. Um, he wouldn't run for certain balls. If you didn't give him the ball in his feet, he wouldn't run for them. So it was pretty much wasted talent. He was very good. He had a good shot on him. He was excellent at dribbling. But his attitude and mentality was poor. And it was a waste of talent in my opinion, because I wasn't maybe as good as him. But I played for the team, and I played to do a job, and I played to try and win and to try and help the team in any way I could. But obviously he was the more talented one. So, you know, Lyle's saying that he wants Tadibo Neves. We need a left back for sure. Which there was something about Kirkez today. Look, that might be heating up, so maybe that might be a left back for you, Lyle. You would love Estupan from Brighton. Estupan is a good shot too. He's pretty good. Yeah, yes, yeah. Me and Stephanie are synced. We are synced. uh, Chow is here. Chow, big up. No words. What am I feeling right now? One thing I am pretty sure is we gonna embarrass by rivals in the games. Alicia deal to Man United. Well, yeah, that update was do you sell Bruno to buy Neves? No, 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 nope, no. I would not sell Bruno to buy Neves. No, because um they got to play together. They got to play together. Actually, they already have a good relationship with each other. Bruno and John Neves have a good relationship with each other from Portugal. Um, Chow is upset. Chow, you upset that they kept Erik Ten Hag because he's saying INEOS out? Are you upset? Did you want Erik Ten Hag to go? It's okay if you did. I just want to know. I just want to know. It's okay if you do. You're allowed to have a different opinion. I just want to make sure, so we know, so we're on the same page. Um, Stephanie saying only started watching last week, but instant like and subscribe. Great channel. Yes, thank you, Steph. I really appreciate that, and I'm glad. However you found the channel, I'm glad that you did find it, and I'm glad that you chose to stuck around and stay here with us and be a part of the community. We need more people like you, like Richard, like Lion, like One Side, like Ray, like Lyle, and everybody else that gets involved in here. Warren J. Missing a couple people too. Grace was here. I don't know if Grace is still here, but she was here. Um, so Grace was here in the beginning. So yeah. Um, yeah, we've hit 15 likes. Agent Bruno, he has been talking to Neves. I think he has. He really has. They have a good relationship. So, I think that's something that we were just talking about. Like they have a good relationship already. They probably have some type of a good understanding. And plus they're both talented. That for me is beautiful right there. What I would do is sell Casemiro, sell well, okay, here we go. So Casemiro's got to go, right? Christian Eriksen is, I believe, leaving as well. So Eriksen's gone, Casemiro's gone. I don't know how much you're gonna get for both of them necessarily, right? Let's just say 40 million for Casemiro. I don't even know what Eriksen goes for. Um, I can't think of a transfer fee off the top of my head. 30 million, 20 million. I don't even know. The some of the fees are really low for some of the players. So I don't know what somebody would be willing to pay for Christian Eriksen, and then maybe even a Scott McTominay, also Greenwood and Sancho. Out of that money, you do the deal and you get João Neves. But do not spend 120 million on João Neves, in one shot like that. You do the deal if you can get him for 85 or a little bit lower. I think that's fair. And I know that I said that I was kind of against that, but a player like that, and Richard's mentioned it before. Yes, you are paying for potential, but I think he is still a very highly skilled and good player. And without the potential based in it, obviously maybe it would be about half the price, maybe 50 million, 60 million. And you're paying for the age as well, age and potential, but um Richard saying you will make the 1,000 and past it, I promise. Well, been going, the way this channel has been growing. Um, there was points when I first started out that it was a real struggle. But I've been really, really encouraged, and obviously you guys have all helped us, um, and helped the channel. I am nothing, and this channel is nothing. So really, not just only I'm going to make it past 1,000, but you guys as well. Because this is our channel. This is our channel. This is our community. This isn't just mine. I may be the presenter. I may set up the show, but again, you guys carry the show as well. Otherwise, I would just be here babbling to myself like some lunatic, and it probably wouldn't be as good. You know what I mean? So, um, Lion saying they seem to know what they're doing by keeping Ten Hag. So far. Let's see how it goes. I mean, they're still fairly new into it, right? They still have a lot of work to do. There's a lot of changes that need to be made. So let's see what other decisions they do. Let's see the transfers they do. There's a lot of things that they're gonna get judged on. There's a lot of things they need to get right. Some of the other things that we don't even really speak on. What are they gonna do with the stadium? What are they gonna do with Old Trafford? There's big decisions on that. So just we got to take it as it comes. We can have opinions and we can have thoughts and we could talk about it, and that's always all good. But final decisions and maybe final opinions are always reserved for until that thing has hit until the hammer has hit the nail on the head, and then you can finally say, so it's always open for discussion. Chow was saying that there is no accountability for the manager. He finished 8th and -1 goal difference, broke so many records. How come he is still in a job? Well, Chow, I get that to a certain point, right? But there are other mitigating factors that went into this season. And also, while you do mention that we did finish 8th and -1 goal difference, we did win a trophy as well. So, it's not. It wasn't the greatest of seasons. It was bad at times. But also, some of the things that we say is that, listen, we've been going down this route for the past like 10 years now. We get one good season, one not so great season. The third season usually ends in a disaster because the manager doesn't get backed after the second season. Players turn on the manager. And we've been stuck in the same cycle for quite some time. And I think a lot of people, and I think even INEOS now, because Sir Jim has made statements about it, um, the environment for a manager to come into Manchester United has not it is not a good environment. It is not one that breeds success. It is not set up to breed success. So while Erik ten Hag at times maybe made mistakes, maybe made the wrong decisions, maybe made the wrong tactical adjustments in games. I don't think it was all of that throughout the season that landed us in eighth. I think what it was the injuries. Number one, biggest concern. Because I think if any club suffered 65 injury and illnesses throughout the squad they have, they wouldn't have won the league. I think um I think Aston Villa would have finished well outside their position. We are not in a position um to really just go 110% in on the manager. This is something that I've been saying for quite some time. Oh, are we back? Are we back? Is the sound back? Yeah, yeah. This okay, the sound's back. All right, my bad guys. Yeah, I don't know why that happened. Um thank you guys. Thank you guys for telling me that. But yeah, so, that as I was saying, yes, Ten Hag has made mistakes and stuff like that, but I don't think it's fair, and that's why many people were asking for Erik Ten Hag to get another season because we just felt like with the injuries, and all that, and again, I still feel very strongly about that. If you don't suffer 65 injuries and illnesses in one season, we don't finish eighth. We don't finish eighth. We were 8 points over fourth. We won an FA Cup trophy. We beat Manchester City in the final. Nobody gave us a chance. We had more of our real first team in that final, and it showed, and the performance showed. And INEOS have taken into consideration that as well. They've taken in that performance, they've taken in the fans' sentiment, and they've taken in the fact that there was significant amount of injuries that they believe have led to the poor season. Probably amongst other factors, as well as the fact that they probably saw that the medical staff or the medical department did not do a good job. So they're not going to put that on Erik ten Hag either. Um, so it is what it is. Axe Lord has joined us. Axe, good to see you. Glad you're here. Sadiq is here as well. I kind of lost the group chat here. Thank you, Axe, for the compliment on the haircut. Um, Singh is saying I'm from India and it's 5 in the morning. Well, I appreciate your dedication, Singh, for being here at 5 in the morning. I don't know if you haven't been to sleep yet or you're just up early. But either way, I appreciate you being in here. That means a lot. And you know what? I don't want to kick you out of here or anything, but if you haven't been to sleep, definitely get some sleep, man, because that's important. So Just make sure you subscribe if you're not a subscriber and turn on notifications so you can join us back in next time, because we are going to do a live show tomorrow. People in here disagreeing with Chow, but just, remember, don't be disrespectful. Keep it respectful. Yeah. Don't cry when we are beat by 4-0 again by the bottom half of the teams next season. Well, if that does happen, right? Then that is the time to criticize the manager, Chow. But I think I don't think that's gonna happen again. I don't. Maybe it might happen one game or two games, but not like this. And then again, it will be more of the overall performance throughout the season. But let's see what happens with the players because still sometimes when we do get beat 4-0 again, like that happens, sometimes it is not solely on Erik ten Hag. Sometimes it is on those players. Sometimes the squad, because the squad is not good enough. Now, we don't have our main starting 11. We have the backup. The backups are in because of injuries. The squad depth isn't good enough. So you can't compete with half a team. I've always argued and said we have a good, decent starting 11 that can play and can accomplish things. But once you start going like 3 players into the squad, 3 players deep, 3 players out, 3 or 4 players out of the main starting 11, that squad starts looking very, very suspect. And it starts looking like a totally different team that is not nowhere near it. So, but listen, I get you, Chow. And you know what? We do still need to hold the manager accountable, right? So going into next season, like I said before you came in here, there are going to be high expectations on Erik ten Hag, and he is going to have to get the performances. Even if he does get this new contract, he cannot afford to finish outside the top 4 or get Champions League somehow. And he needs to go into every cup competition that we are in, and he has to go as far as possible, and he has to try and get the best results in the league and as many points as possible, and get as high as a goal difference as possible. So there is still going to be accountability on him. It just, I think it would have been a little bit harsh to let him go one, and it's too rash. He had one good season. One season wasn't great, and the season that wasn't great, he still ended up with an FA Cup trophy, two trophies in 2 years. Manages at Manchester United, that hasn't really been the biggest thing in the past 11 plus years. So, Stephanie saying need better Premier League campaign to get 75 plus goals to be competitive next season. Returns of 58 and 57 pitfall last 2 years. Yeah, we need to figure that out, Steph, for sure. You're absolutely right. It's a problem that's plagued us. We, the first season, we weren't scoring goals, but the defense was absolutely on top of that, so it helped us out in the goal difference department. But we probably could have done even better if we were scoring more goals. And then this season, we got screwed on both ends, where we did periods where we were, leaking goals like crazy, mainly because, at times we didn't even have a defense. We literally had Casemiro playing center back. We had no left back for like half the season. It was we were down to the bare bones at times. So we lost the defense pretty much. And that led to goals, and then we also struggled to score goals. Players like Marcus Rashford were out of form. Rasmus, first season kid, he struggled a little bit with injuries himself. So, in and out, kind of messed up his form here and there. There was difficulties all over the pitch. And let's not forget, like, even a player like Anthony, even though, like, he might not be the most talented player, he had problems as well with the allegations against him and stuff like that. And, I don't actually know whatever happened with that. I don't know if he was actually ever 100% cleared, but just to be accused of those things, have that going on at the club, with himself as well. It's a hard thing to deal with. So there was a lot of messes that is outside of the manager that went on this season. Sancho is another one, so there's a lot of mitigating factors. It's not just Erik ten Hag. So I think that's why INEOS chose to keep him as well. Axel is saying Glazers and INEOS indeed so long to figure out the obvious, keeping ten Hag. Listen, yeah, they could have always went faster, but I'm glad that they made the correct decision, in my opinion, and probably many of your opinions. They did take long, but I don't know how I feel about that. Sometimes it's better if you take a little bit longer, as long as you come out making the right decision, right? It can go both ways. What if they rushed it? What if they rushed it and they ended up making the wrong decision, right? It's, I guess, circumstances, but I'm just glad that they came to the correct decision. I'm also glad that they did it before the transfer window officially opened, right? So, we can officially move forward. Steph's letting me know that we're up to 18 likes, which is absolutely fantastic. Thank you to everybody that smashed the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you want to be a part of this community, and put on your notifications, and we welcome you in to this beautiful community. Yeah, Singh just mentioning as well, pointing out Amrabat played left back. Yeah, he did. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, we just had it. Like, it was a mess. It was an absolute mess. Anthony is done. I mean, Anthony might be done. He might go. He might be sold. I still think it's a difficult transfer out. If they could figure out how to do it, then maybe, yeah. They could probably do it. Maybe he is. I'm sure Ten Hag will probably still be fighting for him, but if INEOS decide that they want to move him on, Barada decides they want to cut ties with him, and they could do that, then maybe he's gone, and maybe they bring in Elise. Maybe that's the plan or something like that. I don't know. We gotta wait and see. Ray's saying we play all season without defense. Remember, 4 players making big difference, and we had a new goalkeeper. And yeah, that's also a good point from Ray as well. We also did change the goalkeeper too. So not only did we suffer all those injuries in the back, yeah, see, this is why we needed Axelord in here. I'm gonna get to that point. Not only did we suffer all those injuries in the back, but we also had a new goalkeeper. So it's just more mitigating factors. There was so many things that, if you said it was going to go wrong before the season started, and you said all of this was going to happen before it happened, I would have told you, and probably many people would have told you, that you're having an absolute laugh. There's no way. That sounds like fantasy. It sounds like ludicrous. It sounds far-fetched that all this shit would happen all in the same season. It's pretty ridiculous. I almost still can't believe that it's real. You know what I mean? But yeah. But let's see what he does. We're here. We're gonna back this manager like we've been. We're gonna cheer him on, because if Erik ten Hag succeeds, that means Manchester United succeeds, and that means our players succeed as well, because that means that we're doing good and we're playing good and we're performing. And that means that we're happy people, because we just want to see our club do well at the end of the season. Exactly, child. Let's wait and see what happens in the next season. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm going for. That's how we do it. We evaluate as we go. We could hold certain opinions, thoughts, feelings. That's totally normal. But just always remember that, keep an open mind, because things can change, and you are allowed to change your opinion as things go. Because, at one moment, look, at one moment, for example, Harry Maguire, I would have told you there's no way this guy's gonna get near the lineup. He's never gonna play good at all. He's too slow. He's gonna be like 5th choice center back, right? And that's how it looked to me. And I was expecting him to go anyway, right? And then this season, number one, he got opportunities through injuries to other players, but also he took his opportunities. He played very well. And you never knew. And you know what? I had to go, and I changed my opinion on Maguire slightly. Instead of saying that he is a horrible crap player, I gave him all his praise, and I respect him. He did. Maguire improved. He did. So and now I look at Maguire differently than how I used to. Because he made that change. He really stepped it up. Yes, that's what I'm saying, and I'm proud of him. And those things changed. There was one point that Maguire was he literally couldn't do a damn thing right on the pitch. On top of all the PR that he would come out and keep talking, and we didn't want to hear that. You know what I mean? And I was getting tired of it, and I was like, dude, I don't want to hear you talk. I don't even want to see you because I'm tired of you keep putting in bad performances and you keep talking and not putting it on the pitch. But this season was different. It wasn't like that this season for him, and I have to give him his praise, and I changed my opinion on it. So, just always keep an open mind. I'm always open-minded. I might think one way then, but, if later down the line it's pretty evident that, stuff has changed, I will change my opinion on it. You need to wait till the mid-season if signings are not made on time. Well, I think we're going to get some signings in there. But yes, Axel is here. He reminded me. So before, when somebody, I think it was Singh that asked me who would be a significant signing, I would, at those two players that Axel has mentioned right there, I think Scalvini is going to be absolutely brilliant center-back. He might be not there yet. I don't think he would be a starter at Manchester United. I mean, you could probably put him there, but it might be a struggle, right? But I think Scalvini is going to be fantastic center back, and João Neves obviously I love. So, if I was in charge, I would be looking at Neves and Scalvini. But yes, I like that player too very much. But anyway, as I mentioned before, all the players we've been linked to so far, I actually don't have a problem with them. Compared to players that we were linked to in the past. Like there was like a story about Rabiot. I wasn't sold on him. There was a couple other players that I really didn't want to come to this club at certain points in the past 2 seasons that we were linked to. But these players all seem pretty good. Some I know a little bit better than others. Some I've watched a little bit more than others. So, but like I always do, I will 100% judge them when they come and play in a Manchester United kit, and I usually give them a little bit of leeway the first season as well because it's their first season. Unless you're coming from the Premier League. If you're a Premier League player, you get no leeway because you already played in the league. You should just be ready to go. All that hate, I feel bad for that man, Maguire. Yeah, but you know what? He's a strong guy. He dealt with it, right? He kept it professional, and he he could handle it. So it's all right that he went through that. He handled it well. He kept his head. And he did some things down. I think the armband was always a mistake for Maguire because I think we didn't really have a captain, and it was just a lot of extra pressure to put on him. And he just came in and was awarded the armband right away, and I never agreed with that. And yeah, I think you are right. I think it did weigh him down a little bit. Because it's a big ask. It's a big ask. And instead of him coming into United, getting settled because going from Leicester City to United is huge, right? Instead of him just getting in there the first season and just making sure that he's focused and settled and playing his best football, he's given the captaincy with an extra magnifying scope on him, and it was unnecessary, and I think it just led to the whole bad thing being done. Plus, the partnership wasn't great, right? Like, I still don't like him playing with Lindelof, right? And that's another player that has to go. Lindelof needs to be sold. But, I don't like him playing with Lindelof. But when Maguire comes on and he plays with the Varane or he plays with the Lisandro, I think he does even better. I think that partnership was really bad because we've seen that with Lindelof as well. Just Lindelof and Maguire just they never complemented each other. But we've seen Lindelof play with Martinez and Varane, and he's played much better, and we see Maguire play with them, and he's played much better. So I think them two together were a big no-no. But yeah. Delo proved he's a leader as well, absolutely, as available, versatile, improved performances. Yep. And that mentality that he carries, the way he carries himself, whenever he speaks, you could just tell his mentality, his attitude, like, is it's great, and I love it. I think that whole Greece thing affected him. Yep, that's another thing too. That was something else that he had to deal with. Um, Neves would be my dream signing, proper CDM at last. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like for me, Neves, I was watching him today for Portugal, and I don't know if it was Grace or Stephanie. I feel like it was Grace. The show the other day, she's I'm pretty sure it was Grace. She said that João Neves is like 3'2", um, and like 3'2" in height. And he is a small guy, but you know what? He has strong upper body strength. Like I was watching him today, and he would not get bullied when he was playing out there, even though he is shorter. So he still has strength. So I think that's all right. Is Neves really a 6 or is he a 8? Well, I think he can play both. Technically. But right now, because I was just talking to my friend that's a Benfica fan, right? And he's Portuguese, and he was telling me that basically the whole season this season, because he said, this is him saying this, he said Benfica was shit. Basically, the players were shit. And so basically, João Neves was kind of operating in that 6, just sitting in the back, taking the ball off of the center backs and all that, and literally making the plays. So kind of like a deep line playmaker almost. So he has been playing that. I think he's a pretty much all arounder talent. You know. So Chow's saying there's no way we could sign Neves $100 million. Forget about it. Well, we might be able to because we had the updates about it the other day, and they were pretty strong updates. But it depends. It depends. We don't know the actual budget. Everybody's guessing, even the journalists to tell you, the budget is this, the budget is that. We could all guess. I assume it's somewhere around 100 million starting, right? Could be more, could be less. If we sell a couple players, why can't we get João Neves? If we sell 4 or 5 players and we raise good money, we could get João Neves. Now, again, I would advise to not get him for the 120 million because I think that's way too expensive. But if we could get him for 80, 85, maybe plus incentives, performance-based incentives, I would take that because I guarantee you that if we don't get him this summer, and then I probably don't think this summer, but next summer for sure, he will end up at a Madrid or a City or team like that. Probably not Liverpool, but maybe even a Liverpool. Yeah, for sure. They will go for him. Maguire is too slow. That's the one thing that he can never help is that he is too slow. Just one question: is Neves the same profile as Manu? This sort of similar in my opinion. The way I see Mano is he's pretty well rounded, right? Although people would probably argue maybe Manu could play a little bit more attacking. And I think Zhao could probably play a little bit more defensive wise. But I feel like they're both kind of like they're both pretty balanced in their abilities or like in their game. So that they're more like I kind of see them both as box to boxes. Like they can play there. But again, they're young, so you can still kind of mold them a little bit into a certain position. They are still at that age where you can really mold them into a more specific position because they have a lot more learning and growing to do. But yeah, that to me would be I think Stephanie should be his mod. My mod, we could make some mods somehow. I need to figure out how to do that actually because that's probably gonna happen. I believe Lindelof should be kept. I don't want to sound misogynistic, but just tell his wife he will get a 350,000 a week contract for next season if he plays very well. Just watch a Lindelof then. Joking. Iniesta and Xavi weren't big either, but bossed games, proper bowlers like Scolzi. Yeah, height's not always the
the be all and end all. Obviously, and I was thinking about this today because I was thinking about what Grace said that time, and when I was watching the Portugal game, I was like, he is sort of small, right? And I don't think that takes away necessarily from his ability to have an impact on the game, just like it doesn't to Kobe Mainu, just like it doesn't to Lisandro Martinez. The only slight problem that there would be is that obviously, and not every team is like this, but there are one or two teams out there that their midfield or their players are really, really tall, big players. Where obviously then we might suffer because of the size of our midfield compared to their midfield. But that is what squad depth is for. That's why you need another player, right? Like if we do keep Amrabat, or if you get somebody else, or maybe McTominay, and that's why they love McTominay, because McTominay seems to be the only big guy, even though I don't even think he's that great at defense. Um, but yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, but was Lindelof not originally a left back at Benfica? I think he played. No, he played. He played center back, but there was times where he played CDM. He played CDM for them, like a couple times. Um, He might have played left back too. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure about that line, but I do know that he did play CDM for them like a handful of times because they needed it or something like that. Um Mano is more like an 8. Yeah. And you would keep Amrabat 50 million euros bargain. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's actually the worst thing in the world too, because it's not like we're spending a crap load of money, right? And I feel like from what he's shown us at the end of the season, he can be a valuable squad player, especially if he continues those performances on bulldozing and and just being the breaking up of play and being that strong tough guy, being annoying. Um, for that fee, for that low, I don't see it as a bad thing. You're not gonna lose a lot of money if it doesn't necessarily go well or you want to move them on, you know what I mean? So it's not bad. Right back at Benfica and CDM as well. That's what that was. Plus one up for being a mod. Let us grow this community. Yeah, I don't even know how to do that, to be honest. How would I do that? Oh, I'd have to do it in YouTube. Right? I don't know how to do that, but I'll figure it out. See, we're still learning. I'm still learning. I don't even know how to do that. I didn't even take that into consideration actually yet. But yeah, we probably should. We probably should get that. Um, how do we do that? Should we hold a vote? You sound like American. Where are you from? I am American. I live in New York. I am in New York. So, if I sound like some guy from one of those Italian movies, the Italian mobsters or whatever, yeah, that's why. Um, my background nationality is Maltese. My family are all from a small tiny country called Malta in the Mediterranean Sea. Um, you are from California? Oh, all right, Chow. That's good. So we got a fellow person from America in here as well. All right, good. Because as far as I saw in my analytics, I was getting no viewers from America at all, and which is not a problem. But I was just like, how can I not get one? um, yeah, but that's what I was gonna say. What do you guys think? Should we vote on a moderator? Should we just should we hold it? I guess because we are a community, right? And this is a democracy, so do we have some sort of a vote? Like maybe not this time, but we'll set it up. I don't know. You guys want to do it now? I mean, we could just do it now. In terms of like voting, um, if you want, and I mean, do I have to make a poll for this, or do you guys want to just like actually, I don't even know how I make a poll because that's a lot. Um, yeah, we could do it live next time. I guess. Um, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Actually, Well, because the thing is, it is getting late, right? It is late, and I still have to go do things, and I stayed here for you guys. Yeah. Now me and Lyle have voted. You know what? We'll do it. We'll do it on the next. We'll do it tomorrow. How about that? Because we're gonna do a show tomorrow, so we'll do it tomorrow. On the live show, we'll do it tomorrow, and we'll do it officially, and that way we don't have to rush because I literally have to go do things, but I stayed here for you guys. So and I need to get things done. You know what I mean? So, but I thank you guys. I thank everybody for being here, and it was a great conversation again. Obviously it was a little bit of a surprise, and I know some of you joined late, but anyway, thank you. And thank you for everybody that joined, and thank you for anybody that just subscribed and is new, and thank you for the new guys that came in here and got involved, and and you guys stayed for us. Yes, I know. It's kind of late for a lot of you, isn't it? That's what I was kind of thinking too. So, I appreciate that as well. So, you have 3,000 subscribers. I don't think we've hit 3,000 exactly yet, have we? Not yet. Surely not. We're close though. We're close though. We are gaining. We are gaining. We are gaining. We actually gained significant amount the past couple shows. So we currently have I can't even see the full amount. That's kind of crazy. We have something about like 2.78 thousand. So that is awesome. Steph is saying 2.77. I see 2.78 on my end, so it's right around there. So, we're getting there. It is too late though. You guys are tired. Great stream again though. I'm glad you guys joined. I'm glad you guys were here. It's 1:45 in the morning in South Africa. Yeah, everybody needs to go to sleep. Everybody needs to go to sleep. That's it. Bedtime. Come on. So we're all ready to go for tomorrow. But seriously, thank you guys. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for making the show great. Thank you for, just being the best community. And I will see you guys tomorrow. And yes, we will make it. Let's take small steps. Let's try and get the 5K sing, and then let's try and get the 10, and then 15, and then 20, and then one day we'll get there to the 100K. But have a good night, guys. Have a good night. Take care, and we will see you tomorrow. Hopefully, we get some more news. I expect more news on Ten Hag. Now that this, we're gonna get probably contract updates. Hopefully, we get some more exciting player news, and that we can cover. But other than that, we will see you later. So have a good morning, good night, good evening, wherever you're watching. Stay safe, and we'll see you on the next one. All right.